Hi, my name is Marc Bates. I'm a metabolic health coach, and the topic today is part of our question and answer series: metabolic dysfunction when cells starve amid high blood sugar. Let's look at the question. When you examine patients with metabolic dysfunction, there's often a stark contrast between what their blood sugar levels suggest and what's actually happening inside their cells. Can you walk me through what you observe at the cellular level when someone has high blood sugar but their cells are essentially starving? Okay, this is actually a very good question because when you examine people with high blood sugar but cellular energy starvation, you're seeing a textbook case of insulin resistance combined with intercellular fuel failure. Despite an abundance of glucose in the bloodstream, cells, especially muscle, liver, and brain, struggle to access or metabolize that fuel. What's happening step by step at the cellular level? One, it starts with glucose being locked out. In insulin resistant individuals, muscle and liver cells lose sensitivity to insulin signal. Insulin normally binds to its receptor, INSR, on the cell wall, triggering a cascade that leads to GLUT4 transporters moving to the cell surface so they can open up and allow glucose to enter. In insulin resistance, this signal is impaired. This can happen because you have fewer insulin receptors on the cell surface, defective intercellular signaling, that's a post-receptor issue, and accumulation of lipotoxic molecules like ceramides and diglycosyrrol, DAG, that block insulin action. This means that glucose remains in the blood while cells are deprived of usable fuel, especially skeletal muscle, which is the major site for glucose disposal. Fat toxicity chokes the mitochondria. The situation worsens because fat cells, adipocytes, are overstuffed and inflamed, so they refuse to store more fat. This forces fat to back up into circulation, depositing ectopically in organs like the muscles, pancreas, and liver. When skeletal muscles become engorged with fat, it can't burn the excesses stored as intracellular lipid, right? Over time, this fat becomes rancid and forms toxic byproducts, particularly ceramides that damage mitochondria, inhibit glucose transporters, and reduce the cell's ability to oxidize both fat and glucose. In short, the cell has fuel around it but lacks the ability to use it. 3. You have mitochondrial burnout and energy failure. Healthy mitochondria are like tiny engines converting glucose and fat into ATP in metabolic. But in metabolic dysfunction, mitochondria shrink and malfunction. They can't produce enough ATP. The muscle can't burn fat or store glycogen effectively. This leads to a paradox. You have a tank full of fuel, but a broken engine. Dr. Christopher Palmer, one of the experts in psychiatric metabolic health, likens this to energy storage at the cellular level. Even with high blood sugar, the cell is functionally starved because insulin resistance prevents glucose uptake and mitochondrial dysfunction prevents fat oxidation. Okay? So you have all this fuel, you can't use it. Hormonal chaos and feedback loops. Compounding this problem are persistently high insulin levels, hyperinsulinemia, while the pancreas tries to compensate by pumping out more insulin. The result is a continued glucose exclusion from cells, further suppression of ketogenesis, the brain's alternative fuel. That's made keto, right? That's fuel made from fat. Even greater mitochondrial stress and lipid buildup. So despite even overeating, the cell is in a state of perceived famine. Some diagnostic clues. You can identify this metabolic trap through labs showing high blood glucose and insulin at the same time, elevated triglycerides, low HDL, and liver enzymes like GGT in the 30s and 40s, subclinical fatty liver disease. brain and mood effects also are a clue. The brain is especially vulnerable. It relies on a steady stream of energy supply. But when insulin blocks ketone production due to high circulating insulin and glucose can't get in, neurons face an energy crisis. This leads to brain fog, mood disturbances, and fatigue and impaired cognition. So the summary, this paradox, high blood sugar with cellular starvation, defines modern metabolic disease. It's a systematic mismatch. Abundant circulating fuel meets impaired cellular uptake and oxidation. As Dr. Nader Ali and others describe, the solution isn't just lowering glucose, but restoring metabolic flexibility, reducing insulin levels, clearing toxic fat, and reviving mitochondrial function. Okay? Thanks for watching. If you have questions, leave a comment. And if you have any ideas for something you'd like me to cover in a future video, please leave it. And once again, please like, subscribe, and share this.